Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know before you hit level 270. This is going to be my new player guide. If you follow everything in this video, you will be set up for greatness on MapleStory. Your progression will be so much smoother. You will have a really good time playing this game, but there is an initial setup that you have to do across your account, and that's what this video is for. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know, all the little things, all of the really big things, and like I said, by the end of the video, you will have a very good account. This is the way that I set up my account. This is how I'm able to progress so much further into the game. You might ask, why level 270? Well, because the new update that's coming out, 270 is basically going to be the new benchmark for early game. So if you hit 270 and then you go past it, you're starting to make it past the early game, and everything before that sets you up for the future. That's how MapleStory is, and we're going to explain a lot more as the video goes on. Some of the stuff in this video you might already know, but there's definitely going to be stuff that you don't know. So make sure you double check that you have everything done in this video before you're level 270. Otherwise, your progression will be much harder down the line. That all being said though, I want to remind you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. I make so many videos that help you guys out on MapleStory, and it would be so good if you guys would consider helping me out by subscribing. I really want to hit 40k subs by the end of the year. I feel like that's such a good goal that we can realistically achieve. There's a lot more videos coming, and already so many videos on the channel that can help you guys out. Also, come to the live stream where you can see me play the game live and can talk to me in real time whenever you want. And of course, join the Discord where we have a very good community where people help each other anytime you want, even if I'm not there. With that all being said though, the first thing that you're going to want to do is create your main. I would recommend playing on the heroic worlds. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. If you want to know which one I play on both. Chronos has more people, but because it has more people, it could be a little bit harder to get into boss parties because the standards are a little bit higher, but there are also more boss parties and more people. So this is the generally recommended world. Hyperion is also a good world, but obviously because it has less people, you're going to really want to join an active guild so that you can get into boss parties. That's the main differences. The first thing that you're going to have to figure out is what your main is going to be. The first character that you want to make is your main because you're going to want to hyperburn it, which I'll explain what that means in a second. I have many videos on my channel that talk about different mains and which ones to pick. My general recommendation is literally look at a class visually. Like, let's say you think Kinesis looks cool or something, like, oh, chess pieces or something. Go watch some Kinesis footage, some Kinesis gameplay, see if it looks interesting to you, and then I would consider playing that. You could watch a tier list. You could look up a bunch of stuff on it. My general advice, though, is you should play something that you think looks interesting to you because the meta is always changing. A class that could be really strong next patch could be really weak, and something really weak could be really strong next patch. This happens all the time on this game. The class balancing is pretty wonky, so I think it's better to just not hyperfixate on what's the strongest class because at the end of the day, it's probably not going to continue being the strongest. So once you've created your main, at the bottom here, when you press create character, it's going to ask you if you want to hyperburn your main. If you're watching this video in the far future and hyperburn is not available, honestly, hyperburn is the best time to start playing the game. And that discussion is for a different video, to be honest with you. But let's just assume you have hyperburning available to you. That's what you want your main to be. Hyperburning is a thing on MapleStory where it lets you level up so much faster. Basically, what hyperburning lets you do is every single time you level up, you get an additional 4 levels for free up to level 260, which means that you're able to hit level 260 super fast, and you don't have to go through the very early game, extremely annoying process of leveling up. And hyperburning on top of that gives you a ton of support. You get a lot of materials as you are leveling up. As you can see here, every single time you reach like a certain leveling breakpoint, you get a bunch of stuff, and it's a lot of stuff. You don't need to know exactly what everything is, but just know like you don't want to miss out on this. Like, you want your main to be hyperburned because you just get a massive amount of free resources that are going to carry you. On top of hyperburning, there's this new thing called burning beyond, where you can continue the burning all the way to level 270, but starting at 260, you only get 1 additional level every time you level up until 270. So let's say you level up from 260, you're not going to hit 261, you're going to hit 262 all the way up to 270. So this even pushes you even further beyond, like Goku. And this is why at the start of the video, I said everything that you need to do before 270, because the hyper burning process on MapleStory is essentially like the new player track that kind of catches you up past the early game, and you hit 270 where you can actually start progressing properly, and you won't necessarily need all the support that you get from the game at level 270. And the Burning Beyond also gives you a ton of rewards. Like I said, you don't need to know exactly what it does, but just know that it will will make your progression infinitely easier. So you want this on your main for sure. You want a hyper burn, and then you want to burning beyond. But you're not going to start out at level 260. Obviously, when you first create your character, you're going to start out at like level 1 or level 10. But part of hyper burning is this event called Tera Blink. So I'm going to show you guys over here. Something that you should know is on the left side of your screen, there's going to be this star tab. And this star tab is incredibly important because this is how you access all of the events that are happening on MapleStory. You can see here, there's like a list of events, event list, and one of them is called Tera Blink. Tera Blink is a special part of hyperburning that pretty much instantly levels you from level 10 to 200. It takes like 10 or 15 minutes and you go literally straight to 200, right? As you level up, you're going to want to do your job advancements as well. So through Tera Blink, you're going to hit like level 30 and then you got to leave the Tera Blink, do your job advancement, and then go hit level 260 with the Tera Blink. You're going to have to keep going in and out of this hat, basically like the hat icon on your event tab to hit level 200, but then do your job advancements. And it's so useful because the 0 to 200 method is just so much slower without Tera Blink. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my video that I have here on Tera Blink, but basically how it works is you go to this map and you talk to Spiegelman, and he's going to teach you some very, very basic things about the game, like how to use your attacks, how to equip items, stuff like that. So just follow his little quest line, kill the mobs that spawn in the map, do your job advancements, and you will hit level 200 extremely fast. And you can see here, this is like what the hyper burning UI looks like, but the one that we're getting is even better than this one actually. So you can claim the rewards along the way. As you can see, this first reward that says start is from level 11 to 199, and you get all of this stuff. So make sure you get it as you are leveling up. And this is even past level 200. Like as you're leveling up, make sure you keep claiming the rewards so you could keep juicing up your character further and further. Now, certain classes, like in the footage of this video, I'm doing Shade, and the event was very much centered around Shade, right? So Shade himself had a lot of rewards at this time specifically for him. You could see it's level 30, 100, 150, 200. So if you're playing a class on an event that has specific class rewards for that event, like Ren, for example, in the 2025 winter patch, make sure you're claiming the specific event rewards for your own class. You could see here that it's in the event tab as well, but this one was for the Shade event. Ren is going to have her own stuff that you can claim for her as well. But the point that I'm trying to make here is the event tab on the left side of your screen, the star, is super important to know about because this is how you get access to everything. How you get access to your hyperburning rewards, Tera Blink, class event rewards, the overarching event like Twilight Eve, for example. You get it all unlocked through the star tab. So eventually you end up at level 200, and level 200 is very important because this is how you unlock your 5th job. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about is 5th job. You're going to want to unlock your 5th job at level 200. It is a massive, massive power spike and also introduces a new system into the game called V Matrix. And you're going to have to learn about that as well. It's extremely important and gives you so much damage, like an insane amount of damage. So again, I'm going to leave a link in the description that will be timestamped to how you can unlock your 5th job if you don't know how to do it at all. But basically, you're going to have to run around and fill up some stones, kill a few bosses, and then you will unlock your 5th job. Once you unlock your 5th job, you'll have access to the V Matrix. And once you have your 5th job unlocked and your V Matrix, I'm going to leave a link to this video as well that goes over the 5th job, every single little detail and everything about the V Matrix so you know about it. This is very important. This is not something you should overlook. I'm going to give you a basic, brief understanding of how V Matrix works in a second, but I'm also going to have this video in the description as well. So the way that I'm setting up this video is if you just follow everything step by step, it should make sense because this is what you're going to be experiencing as you're leveling up. So the 5th job V Matrix is this UI that you unlock that gives you a ton of new skills and a ton of power towards your previous skills. Like it makes your previous job skills stronger. But to get these V Matrix skills, you have to open something called a node stone. These are what node stones look like. They're these little like white rocks, and you get a ton of them from the hyper burning rewards. So remember how I said earlier, you want to make sure you claim your hyper burning rewards. This is really important because it gives you node stones. And when you open a node stone, let's say I open like 5, it's going to have this animation. You could hold escape to make it faster, and you're going to get a bunch of random skills. This is where you're going to want to watch the video because it's going to be a little confusing too. You're not going to know what the different types of nodes are. The other thing that you're going to have to do at this point at level 200 is you're going to want to join a class Discord. Now, this is super important. I know a lot of people might not want to join a Discord or something like that, or you don't really care about joining a community, but honestly, on MapleStory, you're going to have to. Like, it's that important because every single class has a different V Matrix Matrix setup. It has a different 6-job setup, which we're going to get into later. And it's so important for you to learn about it and to not be misguided. Every single class Discord is essentially the same with the information that they give you, but towards their class. So let's say you're going to want to play Ren, for example, on the upcoming patch. So you're going to want to join this Discord called the Maple Legion Discord. Of course, I'm going to have it linked down below. And on this channel here called classes, it has a link to every single class Discord. So let's say you want to play Ren, right? So you're going to press here, and then you're going to press join, and then you're going to join the Discord, right? Usually these Discords have some sort of like intro thing. You could skip it if you want. I'm just going to press I want to be a Ren, and I'm going to play Chronos, Hyperion, because these are the 2 servers I play on, and then finish, right? And then you get access to like a ton of information right away. The most important channel that you're going to want to look for is going to be something called FAQ. Every single Discord has this. So you're going to want to go to FAQ navigation, and this is where you are going to find so much information about your class. So let's say I want to find V Matrix information. I press here, V Matrix, and then boom, it's going to tell you everything that you're going to need to know about your specific class. So if you know how the nodestone/V Matrix system works because you watched my video about it, then when you're in a class Discord, all of this information is going to make a lot of sense, and you're going to know exactly how to set up your 5th job. This is extremely important. I cannot say that enough. So now that you're level 200, you have a basic understanding of the V Matrix, and you kind of know what nodes do, and maybe you set up your nodes a little bit. I want to remind you, you're not going to be able to max out your nodes immediately, but as you level up more, your nodes are going to be stronger and stronger, right? The next thing that you're going to see unlocks for you at level 200 is something called item burning. Remember how I said the star tab shows you the events? Once you're at level 200, a lot more events are going to unlock for you. So you're going to want to start accepting these events. Item burning is an extremely important one because item burning, what it does here is it gives you a lot of gear for your character. MapleStory, if you don't know already, you can make your character stronger with many different systems, not just gear. So like we just talked about earlier in the video, node stones, that's just one of many systems that makes your character stronger. And of course, gear also makes your character stronger. So now we're going to talk about item burning. Item burning is a special set of gear that you can only get on your burning character, basically your main. And what it does is it gives you a bunch of challenges that you have to complete. And as you complete the challenges, the gear gets stronger and stronger. So right away at level 200, your first mission is to defeat Chaos Zakum, right? So it says reach level 200 and then defeat Chaos Zakum by yourself. I believe you can do this in practice mode starting in the November 12 patch. So you don't have to actually clear these bosses. You can do them in practice mode. And the reason why you should do it in practice mode is because practice mode over here, whenever you click on a boss, you press practice mode over here, it gives you a lot of buffs that you won't normally have access to immediately. So you can use all of these buffs to clear the boss much faster than actually doing it in the real mode without practice mode, because then you're going to have to actually get those buffs. And when you're new, you're not going to have any of these buffs. So it's really easy to do it in practice mode. Also, on top of that, certain missions like Lotus, for example, which is this level 225 mission, you're going to have to defeat his normal difficulty to complete the mission. But you're actually going to be strong enough to defeat his hard difficulty, which gives you better rewards. So you wouldn't want to waste the clear, because these bosses can only be cleared once a week, on normal difficulty when you could actually do hard and get more rewards. So you would do normal mode on practice mode just to complete the mission and to make your character stronger. So you're going to want to accept the item burning and try to do these missions along the way. Obviously, you can't do them all immediately because they have level requirements, but just remember that you have item burning and you're going to want to do these missions so your gear gets stronger and stronger as you level up. The next thing that you're going to want to do is accept any of the other events going on. There might be something like Ride or Die, or there might be an event called Twilight Eve. Accept these events. These events will also give you a ton of resources and are something that you're going to want to do either every day or every week. There could be an event that looks like this at level 200 as well. You could see this icon on the star tab. Basically, there are like tutorial type events that help you even further and give you little missions that you could do as you level up as well. So this is why I keep saying the star tab is so important, because there's going to be a massive amount of events that you can do that make your character stronger. Obviously, as these events also come out, I will have individual videos for them, but because this is an all-encompassing guide, I want to mention the fundamentals so that you can basically do it without having to have somebody tell you exactly what to click every step along the way. You want to get used to clicking the star tab and checking the events out. And these events are super easy. It's like complete your 5th job and then you get nodes, equip a node, and then you get even more nodes, for example. Like, it just gives you a lot of stuff that makes your character stronger. and it helps you along the way all the way to 260. This event here is called Twilight Eve. It's going to look like a hourglass. This is a super important event that you're going to want to accept. You can accept that at level 200. I believe you could technically accept that at level 101, but you're going to level up so fast through Tera Blink, like whatever, just accept that at 200 or 101. It doesn't matter. And the reason why this event is so important is because it gives you daily coupons and it gives you buffs that make daily quests a lot stronger for you. It also just gives you like a ton of materials. So you can see here, this is like the track that's part of this Twilight event. If you literally just press this button 5 times a week, you will slowly progress one item at a time every single week, and you will get 3x coupons and you'll get a bunch of materials that you can use to buy things from the event shop. Definitely look forward to the event shop video. I'm going to have a whole video on just the event shop so you know what to buy. In this video, I want to just remind you guys of how these events work. This is very standard for MapleStory. How events work is you just press a button or you kill some mobs and then you're able to just progress forward through the event. So you want to make sure all of this is set up. Like when you're level 200, accept the Twilight Eve event, accept the tutorial event, accept item burning event, accept ride or die event. All of these things, accept them all at 200 right away. So it's okay to just like stop for a little while and just accept these events, right? These events also give you event buffs. Like the Twilight Eve event, basically you get event buffs, and you get these event buffs by getting the currency. So if you were observant earlier, you would see that when you daily check in on the event, it's not just the coupons that you get. You also get these like vegetables or whatever the hell these are, and you can use them to put into whatever event buffs that you want. I would highly recommend. Obviously, this is in Korean, and when we get the English picture, it'll look like this. You can see these are all like the different event buffs that you get along the way. I would highly recommend putting into Monster Park Clear XP as soon as possible, because Monster Park is a daily that you're gonna have to do every day, and it gives you a ton of XP. So definitely juice this up as early as you can. And then Arcane River and Grandest daily quest rewards are like the next best thing. And then when it comes to like bossing stats, boss damage and ignore defense are like the 2 top ones that you want to get for sure. And if you're grinding, definitely get XP obtained or normal enemy damage if you can't one shot. So I want to remind you guys at this point in the video that I'm going to have individual videos for these events. This is a general all-encompassing tips video for everything, just in general on how to play MapleStory. So if you're like a little confused and you don't know exactly how every single event works, just look forward to the upcoming videos when the event actually comes out that I'm going to have for every single one of these events individually, right? But I just wanted to give like a higher level understanding of how these things work. Basically, you hit 200 and there's a bunch of events you have to accept. There you go. So another really important thing on the left side of your screen is the Lightbulb. The Lightbulb shows you what quests you're going to have available to you. And one of the most important quests that you're going to have to do is this quest called Collector's Request in Search of the Legend. Your quest tab is going to look a little bit different because this video is a little old, but the quest name is going to be the exact same. So look for this quest. It's going to be called Collector's Request in Search of the Legend. It's a very short quest, but it is extremely important for your progression. I'm going to have this part of the video timestamped in the description, and it goes over how you do the quest. It's very fast, but what this quest allows you to get is these potions that are super important from the collector. So Sayram's elixir, Aurelia's elixir, and then we're gonna get another potion that comes out in this upcoming patch that gives you even more damage as well. Now, the reason why these potions are important is because they give you a tremendous amount of damage through bossing. So Sayram's elixir gives you like a ton of stats. You don't need to know exactly what these stats mean, but just know they give you a lot of damage. Aurelia's elixir gives you an extra life every time you boss, so it's super important to have it. And then the third potion that we're going to be getting in the upcoming patch also gives you even more damage. So every single time you boss, you want to make sure that you have these potions. So you want to do it right away at level 200, just get it over with. The next thing that I want you guys to familiarize yourself with is the escape tab. So if you press escape, you're going to get this large UI that has a lot of different buttons, right? You don't need to know exactly what every single thing does, but just know that when you press escape, you're going to have this UI that has all of the different settings and UIs. You could get access to everything, right? So it's very important. At the bottom here, you have your quick slot buttons, right? And you can actually customize this to have whatever you think is useful there. The most useful thing that you need here is the planner. The planner is the most important thing. So I would press edit, and then I would press the planner. I would drag it wherever you want and then press save, right? You could even apply it to all your characters. This planner button is super important. If you don't set it up here, whatever, press escape and then press planner. So this might look a little overwhelming at first, but I'm going to go over it step by step. So there's 3 parts to this planner. There's the top left area, there's the bottom left area, and then there's the right side. The right side is for all the bosses. So if you press the little gear on each of these, you can customize it. So when you're new to the game, you want to set all of the daily bosses. You don't need to do this boss, by the way. And you want to do them every single day, if possible, on their hardest difficulty. In particular, Golux. We're going to talk about Golux in a second, but these are like the most important bosses. You press save, and then they're all going to be available to you. You could even press this arrow, and it's just going to take you straight to the boss room. So the planner is super important. You could do it every day, and then you could do it for the weekly bosses as well. You're not going to be able to clear all of the weekly bosses, so I just have the ones that I do every single week, and then also like monthly bosses like Black Mage, and then it'll just appear here, and then you could do them every single week. You could press the arrow, and it just straight takes you to the boss, right? Now, this top left part here is incredibly important as well. You want to do all of these dailies every day if possible. I'm going to tell you which dailies are important to do and which ones you should be doing every day, because not every single one of these you should be doing. Monster Park, extremely important. Always do it. MapleStory, you should be doing it, but if you don't do it, it's okay. The reason why this one is important is because it gives you extra Mesos, but you have to be careful. You can only enter MapleStory. Here, I'll show you. By the way, if you ever get lost and you don't know how to get back to town, just open up your guide. So if you go to your keybinds, for me, I have it on F11. You open up your guide, and then you could just press like the Genesis button here, and then it'll take you immediately back to town. So the reason why you have to be careful on MapleStory is because you can only enter up here 2 times a day for free. If you want to enter the remaining 5 times, you're going to have to pay 300 Maple points per entry, which obviously costs real money. So you should do it 2 times a day because those are like the free entries. And then at the end of the week, she gives you a bunch of Mesos. You should be doing it. For me, I don't do it. It's whatever. There's also no MapleStory on the Challengers World necessarily. Now, all of these dailies are very, very important to do. So you want to check all of them. All of these daily quests for all of these Arcane River symbols. Even if you don't have them necessarily unlocked yet, just make sure you check them so that they're available and you always remember to do them as you unlock them. These quests are also important to do. Moonbridge research for these Sparks of Determination. Now, you don't need the Sparks of Determination for anything. This is a useless item, but they give you good XP for doing the quest. So I would definitely do them. And then moving forward even further than that is all of these Sacred Force dailies that give you all of these things called sacred symbols. You want to do them, and you could see there's like a requirement. So as you're leveling up, you're going to get more of these dailies to unlock. So essentially you want to do these, like literally everything here. You want to do everything. Don't care about Hyperspace Cube. MapleStory, you could pass on it, but everything else you want to do them until you're maxed out on your symbol. Then you could stop doing them. You press save, and then they're all going to appear here. And then you could start all of them at the same time, and you could complete them all at the same time too once you're done with them. Order request is being changed to a weekly, so I'm assuming it's just going to go down here, which leads me to the next part, weekly content. This is very important to do. You could see there's level requirements. You're not going to have access to every single weekly content, but Monster Park Extreme, definitely do this at level 260. Epic Dungeon, level 260 or 270, depending on what level you are. Definitely want to do one of these. And then these are also very important to do that give you even more symbols. These are super underrated. I'm going to have a video linked down below to all of these things. High Mountain, Angler Company, all of these weeklies, so you know exactly how to do them. Mulung Dojo is actually pretty underrated. A lot of people aren't going to do it. If you're tryharding, definitely do it because it gives you 2x coupons, but you don't have to do it as a new player. Culvert and Flag Race, if you're in a guild that requires these, definitely do it. But if you're not in a guild that requires them, you don't have to do it. And then these weeklies at the bottom, a lot of these aren't that useful. Vanishing Journey one, sure, you can accept it. It gives you just a little bit of extra nodes. It helps a little bit. Dark World Tree weeklies and Diffusion Energy Core, so Scrapyard. If you've ever heard of these, you don't have to do these weeklies at all anymore. You're going to get your item burning gear, which is just better than the Apsos that you can get. And you could get Apsos as drops very easily on this game. You don't have to do these weeklies at all. And then Legion Weekly, you should definitely do this if you're on a server that has Legion. The reason why I mentioned that is because Challengers World is going to be where a lot of people play, and some of these weeklies won't be available, but this video is just in general for MapleStory. So in case somebody watches it in the future, you should definitely do that weekly. And then this is how you're going to have your planner set up. You're going to have all your dailies, weekly bosses, all of your quest dailies, all of your weekly quest dailies. And it's very important to get used to looking at this because it's very, very useful. All right, so I know we've made it a lot through this video and there's a lot of information to take in, but let's just reiterate what we know. We know about the planner. We know about the star tab that that has all the different events going on. We know about the Saram's Elixir quest. We know about item burning and V Matrix and stuff like that, right? Let's talk about a bunch of smaller things that you should do that are going to help you out massively in the future. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and again, you want to do all this stuff like starting at level 200 if possible, is you're going to want to go to Ardentmill. So if you don't know how to get there, on the top left of any town, there's going to be a button that says Ardentmill and you can go there. You're going to want to talk to this guy and he's going to unlock your professions. And then you're going to want to talk to these two on the bottom right. You want to learn about mining, learn about herbalism, and then you're going to want to talk to these guys: accessory crafting guy, master of smithing guy, and master of alchemy woman. You're going to want to unlock all of these things. They're going to help you out in the future. You just got to unlock them for now. Don't really worry about it until then. The more important thing is you're going to want to unlock auto harvesting. Again, I will have a link down below to auto harvesting. Basically, how auto harvesting works is this guy's just going to go get a bunch of materials for you, and it takes 4 hours every single day. So when you log in, this is one of the first things that you're going to want to do is start your auto harvest. It's super simple. Like, you just press the start button and then 4 hours later you get a bunch of materials and you get a bunch of coins for the auto harvesting shop as well, which is also really useful. So you literally like just press start, claim anything that you haven't claimed from the previous day. Novice, intermediate, advanced, or expert. This depends on what you need. I would either start with novice or expert. Both of these give you materials to help you out in the future, but let's just say we do expert, right? And then you press start and 4 hours later you just claim all the resources, right? But there's also a shop that you can use to buy stuff. Now, one of the things that I would definitely buy is this Plentyroid coupon. You're gonna need this in the future when you get a heart, and you're not gonna have an android to pair with that heart. If you don't know what that is, so on the bottom right of your equip slots, you have your android and you have your heart. If you want to use a heart, you have to have an android. You're not gonna be given an android, so you're gonna want to buy this heart. And then you're also going to want to buy herb selector pouches and mineral selector pouches. Herb selector pouches are more important because you get juniper berry seed oils, which look like these like purple bottles, and these are extremely important in your progression. They're so important because they allow you to craft these wealth acquisition potions. There's the small one and then there's the regular sized one, and these give you 20% extra Meso and 20% extra drop. They are so important for your progression, and you're going to want to stockpile as many of those juniper berry seed oils that I mentioned before for later on. You're not going to be using this in your early game progression, but starting at 260 or 270 and beyond, you will be spamming these items. Every single time you grind, you will be using this item. So you're going to need hundreds, maybe even thousands of these down the line. So you want to set that up from now. You want to set that up early into the game so you end up with so many of these materials, because it's 4 hours a day, right? The earlier you start it, the more you're going to have long term. Now, this leads me to Threads of Fate. Now, Threads of Fate or Mushroom Shrine is an entire quest line that you're going to want to do for your account. If you haven't done this before, you're going to want to do it. It's best to do it on your main as well. It's kind of a long quest line. It could take an hour or two depending on how long you want to do the quest line, because you don't have to finish the whole thing technically, but you should finish the whole thing long term. And the long story short of this quest line is it gives you access to this UI here called Threads of Fate, and it has a bunch of characters on it. You don't need to know exactly every single detail for this video, but the long story short is these characters give you more of the juniper berry seed oils that I mentioned before, and it gives you a bunch of other materials like minerals and stuff, which can come in handy later. Because if you end up playing this game for a long time, the auto harvest is not going to give you enough of these juniper berry seed oils if you play a lot and if you play it for a long time. If you're a casual player, the auto harvest will be fine for you, but if you want to take the game very seriously, you're going to have to do Threads of Fate because it gives you way more of these juniper berry seed oils. Like I said, they're super important because you use these every single time you grind, and you're going to need a lot of that material to craft it. I'm going to have a link down below to Threads of Fate, how to set it up, how to do the entire quest line and everything as well. Another thing that you're going to want to do is unlock a skill called Hero's Echo. Now, this skill could be called different things on different classes. It could be called exclusive spell or something like that, but it's basically a skill on your beginner tab that gives you 4% attack and 4% magic attack, and it's super important. The reason why it's super important is because it helps you train. Like, you can use this and it's just a buff during training, and you could also use this during bossing and it makes you quite a lot stronger. So you're going to want to unlock this. Every class unlocks it a little bit differently. Sometimes it's just like a level 200 quest that has like job next to it, and then you just do the quick quest and then you unlock it. Or other times, like let's say you're playing Ho Young or something like that, it's probably going to take like, you have have to do your entire story quest line to do it. So this is where I mentioned class Discord, like I mentioned earlier in the video. Definitely join it so you know how to unlock your hero's echo, because it's very, very important to do. Another small thing that I want to mention that's actually kind of important that you want to do at level 200 is you're going to get this item called a trait boost potion. I believe you're going to be getting it from your hyperburn rewards, and you want to use this potion. Now what this potion does, here I'm going to buy 2 of them, is when you click it, you're going to choose a bunch of traits that you want to level up. You want to level up your charm, and you want to have your charm at least level 30. If you want to figure out how you could see what your traits are, go to your key bindings and keybind profession. It's one of these blue keybinds, and when you open the profession tab on the top left, press my professions, and you can see all of your traits here. And when you hover over every single one of them, it's going to show you what level it is. So you can see charm is level 93 for me, and everything else is level 100. So I'm going to put it into my charm. But like I said earlier, you just want your charm at level 30. The reason why you want your charm level 30 is because it unlocks something called a pocket slot. So over here on the bottom left, pocket slot, you're not going to have this unlocked unless you have your charm level 30. The reason why this is important is because you can get some pretty strong gear on this slot and you won't have it unlocked. And let's say you use it and then it doesn't unlock, just change your channel. Sometimes it can bug, and if you change your channel like that, it'll just immediately unlock after that. It just needs to like a little update. Now let's say you get a lot more of these trait boost potions. They're not just useful for charm only. The other thing that you want to use it on and you want to max out as early as possible with these trait boost potions is something called insight. So insight gives you ignore LE resist plus 5%. This is literally 5% final damage. If you don't know what that means this is 5% total more damage across all sources. So you are doing 5% more damage total. So if you're doing 100 damage, you will be doing 105 damage if you get this maxed out. This is incredibly important. Not many people know about this. It's so underlooked. I guarantee you there's people watching this video that are probably like level 285 or something and don't have this maxed out. It is a stupid amount of damage just from maxing this out. The others aren't as important. Empathy is good if you're like a class that has a bunch of summons or a bunch of buffs. Ambition maxes out naturally through bossing. Diligence and willpower, like they don't matter that much, but insight, the most important one, and then charm level 30. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is familiars. Familiars are actually getting revamped. So if you're watching this video in the future, your UI is going to look a little bit different, but the concept is the same. The thing that you're going to want to do with familiars before you hit 270, you could do this at any point. You don't have to do this immediately at level 200, is you're going to want to unlock some basic familiars. So familiars have different ranks, right? Like the blue one is rare, the purple one is epic, and then the orange one is unique. When you're training, you're going to be getting a lot of these familiar cards to drop, like just a ton of these, right? You're going to want to open a bunch of common ones until you have 3 15% IED familiars, and you're going to want to lock them. So you're going to want to click on it, and then you're going to want to press this lock. And once it's locked, it means you can't accidentally delete it. So make sure you keep opening these gray ones until you get 3 15% IED familiars. This will increase your damage a massive amount by just having these 3. At the moment, you're not going to have all 3 slots unlocked, but in the future, they might make it so that you just have all 3 slots unlocked. You usually start off with 1 slot, and if you want to unlock more slots, you're going to have to get these badges. The badges that I recommend getting is when you're level 255, I would just get this Apocalypse badge that gives you 1% attack. If you're a mage, the Hotel Arcus badge at 265 is also very important, so get this, but you're just going to need 1 badge right away. Honestly, whatever badge you can get. Void badge is also super important at level 245 if you're a mage. So either 245 or 255, get one of these badges, Apocalypse badge or Void badge. And all you have to do is just get 1 familiar card of each mob in the region and consume it. And then you'll unlock the badge. And when you have 1 familiar badge, it means you'll have your 2nd slot unlocked. You won't have your 3rd one. So 2 slots of 15% IED is really strong for you. And then the 3rd slot, I would recommend getting it once you're level at least 265 or 275, because this way you can get the familiar badges from the Arcane River / Grandis regions, which is much easier than getting random badges along the way, like doing a rebel badge or something like that. Lion badge is also something that you could get very easily and gives you attack percent if you want to get it super early. The other familiars that you want to look out for are rare familiars. So you want to open a bunch of blue familiars like these, and you want to get 3 familiars that have this line: continuously restores HP or continuously restores HP and MP. If you open a bunch of blue familiars, you'll probably get these, and these are going to be really useful in bosses like Will and Vihila down the line. And then you also want to get this familiar that says specifically increases item drop rate. This increases your drop rate by 50%, and you could get it on a blue familiar, which is very, very useful. The big familiar drops, you're going to have to get epic, which you can get down the line, but just starting early out, this 50% drop fam is super useful. So those are like the basic familiars I would get. Is I would save 3 15 IED ones, I would save 3 heal ones, and then 1 item drop rate 50%. Like I said earlier, the familiar system is getting revamped, so it's going to be a little bit different, but this is like generally what you want to aim for. I'm going to have an updated familiar guide as it comes out, but I'm still going to have my old familiar guide linked down below for this as well. All right, so we've talked about so many different quest lines, so many different dailies and setup things so far. Now let's talk about actually leveling up. Let's say you watch this video and you're following all the advice. You hit level 200, you pulled up this video and you're like, okay, I want to do everything that he's telling me. I'm going to stop and I'm going to do everything. What about leveling up? Like, you need to level up, right? I'm going to tell you some of the best ways to get to level 260 and even 270. There's basically 2 methods to level up to 270 or to 260. You can either do it through dailies, like in the planner, and eventually you'll level up. Just by doing your dailies and your weekly quests, you will level up. There are also event resources that will also help you level up. So for example, in the event shop, you are going to be able to buy this item called a strawberry farm. This is extremely important to do at level 200. You don't want to do this that much, I would say, after level 230, because it gets so much slower. You can do it if you only care about your main. So this is how it works. I'm gonna have a video linked down below as well on how this works, but basically this is how it is. When you use the ticket, you are going to be sent to this map, and if you don't know how to get to this map again, like I said at the start of the video, star tab is everything. It'll take you to this map, and all you have to do is just kill all of these little like golden strawberries that spawn. As you kill all of these strawberries, you will be getting a massive amount of XP, and because you're hyper burned, you're going to be leveling so much faster too. So just do this 5 times. You're going to be able to get 5 of these coupons every single week just through the event resources. And if you're playing now and let's say you prepared the winter countdown, you're going to have another strawberry farm for free. So do like the either 5 or 6 of these on your character, and you'll probably end up like around level 230 just from doing these strawberry farm tickets. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you could keep doing them because they reset every single week, and you could just buy 5 of these every week and get some XP. But the XP scales so slowly past level 230 that honestly, it's probably better to just use these on other characters that you care about. If you literally only want to play your main, like let's say you're on the challenger world, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You could use these and it's not the end of the world. I would still recommend using it on other characters though. Now, if you remember what I said earlier about Monster Park is so important to do every single day because it also gives you a massive amount of XP. You want to do the highest level of Monster Park possible. So let's say you're level 230, you're only going to have this one unlocked. So you're going to want to do this one. But let's say you level up as you're doing it, and then you get the next area unlocked, then switch to that one. Even if it's slow, it's still worth doing because the XP is a huge difference every single time you go up. And you want to do this every single day. You're going to only be able to enter Monster Park once a day for free, and then you're going to have to buy 6 more tickets every single day. If you want to buy these tickets, you're going to want to enter the cash shop, which is this like gift button on the bottom left. And then on the top left, you want to search Monster. Search Monster, and then you'll be able to buy Monster Park tickets right here. You want to buy the ones that cost 7 million Mesos. So buy 6 of these every single day. They're going to go to your cash inventory on the bottom right, and you're going to have to pull them out. Just double click them here, and they'll go into your inventory, and then you could do Monster Park every day. And Monster Park will give you a ton of XP. So if you're doing the strawberry farm, you're doing your Monster Park, and then on top of that, you want to do all of your daily quests as well that give you like arcane symbols and stuff. All of these things will give you a massive amount of XP. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the first day you're like level 240 or 245 just from doing all of these dailies. If you are above level 240, you want to try and use magnificent growth potions. So these items over here, the event will give you these through a bunch of different sources. You can either get them from an event that gives you like a daily check-in, like this, for example. You see how there's a magnificent potion on week 3. You could use that, or you could get magnificent potions from, let's say, over here on the Inkwell note rewards, which you should have saved until after the patch, ideally. MapleCon LA gift. He also gives you a magnificent growth potion. This will give you a free level anywhere between 240 to 250. So you can get immediately from like 245 to 250 just from using the magnificent growth potion, because you're also hyper burned, right? So you're going to get 5 levels instead of just 1. And then after that, it'll slow down a little bit because you can just continuously do your dailies every day with Monster Park, and eventually you'll hit 260. Or the sweaty method is to literally just go and grind. So basically, you want to to use all of the event resources as you get them to level up. But eventually, you're not going to have event resources because you need to wait until the next day or you need to wait till the next week to get more. So you supplement the event resources with grinding. And obviously, the more you grind, the faster you'll level up. So this is just completely up to you. So let's say you're doing it with purely just event resources and dailies. It would take you around 8 or 9 days to hit level 260 just through dailies and the free event resources. Because by the time you do your dailies and you do your strawberry farms, you're probably going to end up around level 240. And then with like a mag potion, let's say you use like one mag potion, you'll probably be able to hit level 260 in around 8 or 9 days. So this is just through doing your dailies. This doesn't calculate the XP that you get from actually killing the mobs to do your dailies either. So it might be even a little faster than this too. All right, so let's say you've been following the advice. You're finally level 260, right? Now, 260 is a huge turning point in the game because you get to unlock your 6th job, which is your Hexa Matrix, right? 6th job is a massive, massive power spike. You have your Hexa skills and you have your Hexa stats, right? This is obviously going to be a little confusing for you and you need to unlock the 6th job. So let's talk about how you unlock your 6th job and what the Hexa stat does. So I'm going to have a video linked down below on how to unlock your 6th job. I go over it step by step, everything, tips to unlock your 6th job as fast as possible. And basically the gist of unlocking 6th job is you're going to have to go farm and fill up these stones with a bunch of XP. And I'm going to tell you how you can fill up the stones as fast as possible in this video as well. Basically, when you want to fill up the stones for your 6th job, it'll make sense if you watch the video that I had linked down below. You are going to want to use these items called VIP boosters. The reason why you want to use these things called VIP boosters is because they give you a stupid amount of bonus XP for a limited amount of time. Unlocking your 6th job can be like a kind of grueling process, so you're going to want to make it as painless as possible. I'm going to show you exactly what these VIP boosters do. If you watch the video on how to unlock 6th job, you're going to know what they do, but I'm going to go over it. But I'm going to go over it real quick here. So when you're training on MapleStory, right, something that's like a really good tip that you guys should know is when you open your stats tab on the bottom over here, it's going to show you how much additional bonus XP you have. So me, just by standing here and through passives and whatever skills I have, I'm getting a bonus 107% XP, right? You want to increase this number as high as possible while you're training so you could get more XP, right? So you could do stuff like use a MVP coupon, you could use like a gold pot, 2x coupon, 3x coupon, whatever you want, right? And it'll just slowly increase this number more and more. What you should be doing is you should be using your 3x coupon that you get from the events. So I'm going to use a 3x coupon here. Boom. Going to add another 200%. So I started at 107. Now I'm 367. So I'm going to be getting way more XP, right? There's other things that you could do to increase your XP. And I'm going to leave a link down below, like I keep saying in this video, to my XP guide that's going to show you how you can increase your XP as much as possible. You can use stuff like holy symbol that gives you more or whatever. But the thing that's very important about this is before you use your XP VIP booster, you're going to want to increase your XP as high as possible because the VIP booster mobs scale by how much XP additional you have as well. Your additional XP obtained affects the VIP boosters. So when you use the VIP booster, this is what it looks like. It's going to be a 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to see all these like flame spherical mob demons appear. These mobs give you so much more XP. So when you're filling up your stones, you want to have these spawning so that you can fill it up so much faster. And then eventually, once you fill up all the stones, you're going to have to do these like mini games. You could see how there's like a meter on the screen. That's one of the stones, right? And as you're mobbing, you can see you're filling up the stone. And I'm just going around clearing the map like a crazy person, right? And then you're going to have to do these like mini games as well. They're very easy. They're very intuitive. So like that's it. And then you unlock your 6th job, right? And once you unlock your 6th job, you're going to have access to your like your origin skill, right? And your origin skills are like really powerful giant nuke skills. You also unlock your Hexa Matrix, which is very important as well because your Hexa Matrix enhances your 5th job skills. Like it makes all of your 5th job skills stronger as well, and your 4th job skills even more, and you get Soul Janus. You get a bunch of skills that make you just so much stronger. Now, it's really important to understand how you unlock these skills. The gist of it is basically you need Soul Urda and you need Soul Urda fragments. Like let's say I want to upgrade this skill, right? It's gonna have a cost. It requires 1 Soul Urda, requires 1 Soul Urda fragment. I'm just gonna press enhance and it's gonna upgrade, right? And then your skill gets stronger. But to get these materials, Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragment, you're gonna have to go farm. But what's cool is the event gives you a ton of these materials. Like it just gives you a massive amount of Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragments rewards from the upcoming events. So make sure you use them properly according to what your class Discord says. What's really important about 6 job though is when we set up the planner earlier, you get new dailies and you get new symbols that you can use to make yourself stronger. And now that you're 260, I want to remind you guys of all the other events that we accepted up until this point. Like remember the item burning that we accepted earlier? Now that you're 260, you can actually complete all of this and get some really strong gear. So make sure you complete this. With that in mind, everything else is still the same. Like you still want to keep doing your dailies every day, but you're going to have more dailies unlocked. You're going to have Monster Park Extreme unlocked, which you're going to want to do every single week. You're going to have High Mountain unlocked, which you're going to want to do every single week as well. These are super, super important to do. They give you so many resources and a ton of XP, and you're going to want to slowly further and further get to level 270 with the Hyper Burning Beyond. The Burning Beyond continuously gives you even more and more support. Like remember how I mentioned Soul Urda and Fragment? It gives you more and more of that and symbols all the way to 270. So this is like the final stretch. Like you want to keep doing your dailies, keep grinding until you're 270. And then once you're 270, you've probably obtained most of the free rewards for you. And the rest of the event rewards will just unlock throughout the weeks of playing the game. Now, one of the last things that I want to mention is what to do with your Mesos along the way. So let's say you're clearing all the daily bosses, you're selling the boss crystals, and you're clearing the weekly bosses and selling the boss crystals as well. I actually didn't mention this yet, but the reason why you want to do the daily bosses and the weekly bosses, part of the reason is you get these things called boss crystals, and you can sell these boss crystals to the collector. If you press on the top left this little arrow and then press crystals and elixir, and you could just press sell all, you can get a ton of Mesos. And this is going to be one of your main ways of getting Mesos early game, is by selling boss crystals. Whenever you kill a boss, right? Like let's say I kill Hard Magnus or something, they drop a boss crystal, this like purple thing right here, and you can sell it to get a ton of Mesos. So you're going to want to try and clear as many weekly bosses as possible every single week. So like I'm just going to sell it and then boom, I just got some Mesos. You would get a lot more than this. I only got this much because I already sold a bunch of crystals earlier in the week. You see Hard Magnus is typically worth 95 mil. Now what you're going to want to do with those Mesos is you're going to want to make Meso and drop gear. I have a whole video that's going to be linked down below on making Meso drop gear, whether you're early game and get basic Meso drop gear or you're progressing and you want to get to like the end game type of Meso drop gear. I'm going to have it linked down below that's going to go over it every single step by step. But the point is, this gear, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what you feel, is actually more important than your damage gear and is the #1 way to progress on MapleStory as fast as possible. It is so important to make Meso and drop gear. It's literally like 5 times as important and will like double, triple your progression speed if you have it versus if you don't have it. Because what it does is not only does it give you way more Mesos when you grind, you also get way more drops. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably realized at this point that a lot of different items in the game make you stronger. Like node stones make you stronger, fragments make you stronger, familiars make you stronger. All of these things make you much stronger, and you can get way more of those items with drop gear, item drop rate. That's why we got the 50% drop rate fam earlier. That's why I talked about all of these types of things, because drop rate and Meso acquisition rate is so important for your progression because it just makes you so much stronger. So that's what I would do with my Mesos at the start of the game, is I would make some basic Meso drop gear, which again, I will have linked down below to my Meso drop gear guide. I'm probably going to make another one anyways, but the old one still works. Over time, you will hit level 270. And once you're level 270, you have access to Odium, which is a pretty good place to be at because you also get Angler Company as well, which is like a nice epic dungeon to do. And you also get a lot of bonus damage on a bunch of bosses. How bosses work on this game is the boss themselves have a level, and the level that you are also determines how much damage you do to the boss. So for example, Black Mage is level 275. Like he himself is a level 275 mob. And if I'm level 270, I'm going to be doing a lot more damage to him than somebody who's level 260 because I'm higher level. And this extends further until you're up to 5 levels above the boss, and then you have max damage. So the max damage you could do on BM is if you're level 280. So you want to try and get to that max damage point as fast as possible. But 270 is good because it gives you max damage on everything from Darknell and below. So Hard Vihila, Darknell, Sea Gloom, Slime, H Lucid, H Will, Hard Lomian, you will have max damage on all these bosses at level 270. So it's going to make it so much easier to progress and get past that early game because you are level 270. And you're going to have a lot of dailies unlocked, which means that you can level up your symbols a lot easier too. I know there was a ton of information in this video. This is going to be one of those videos that you're you're going to have to come back to a lot. There's definitely some small things that I probably overlooked or didn't think they were too important to mention. If there's anything really big that I didn't mention, definitely leave a comment down below so we could help all of each other out. That's the whole point of this video, is that we could all help each other out here, right? Send this to your friends, share it. There's going to be a lot of timestamps down below that you can click through in case you missed anything. So let's say you are playing with your friends and somebody mentions familiars, right? You could come back to this video and click on the familiars timestamp and go back to hear what I said about it. I appreciate you guys watching so much. This video took a while to put together, so it would mean so much if you would subscribe or share the video with people. Watch a bunch of my other videos too. There's also going to be a lot of upcoming videos that are going to go into a lot more in-depth details on every single little thing, because it's just too much to put all in one video. I wanted this video to be kind of like general knowledge of the game on a lot of these things. And if you followed every single thing on this video, like let's say you're working on it, I want you to come back, leave a comment that lets me know that you did everything that I said in this video, so that I know that you listened and you are on a good trajectory moving forward. If you want to know what the secret word is that's going to let me know that you did everything, I want you to say the word uni, which is this Lara. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Pull up to the live stream too, and I'll see you guys there. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Shout out to my beautiful members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, CKJ, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Kelvin, Cloud Figs, Trashbot, Henzo, Dylan, Cloudy Quesos, Jason B, Sylvester L, J.A., Russell M, Mochi Teddy, Zero Sama, Shredbot, Michael R, and Suna TM. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys ever want to submit art, put it in the Discord fan art channel, and I'll see you for the next video.